Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking very forward to this talk with Reneé Erlich. Reneé, it's great to see you. I've followed your career for a long time, and always have enjoyed watching you be successful every time you did something, and do something. And so it's great having you on. Real quickly, Reneé is an entrepreneur, founder of two multi-million-dollar businesses. And we'll get into a lot of that right now. Owner, founder of Prosperi Leadership Coaching. And we're going to hold on. There we go. And we're going to just dive in. So, here we are sitting August 26, 2021. And I think CEOs and businesses are trying to figure out, what does leadership look like today, right? What does leadership look like when everybody kind of gets back from Labor Day and the summer is over? And so can you kind of talk a little bit about what leaders should be talking about and how they should be talking to their teams?
Okay, well, thanks for having me, John.
Yeah.
So as an executive and leadership coach, I provide leaders space for personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
And as people are coming back into the office and even not coming back into the office based on how they're doing business, it's really important to have amazing communication with their team. And that seems to be the key to success.
Yeah.
In the office, out of the office, at home, in life.
Yeah. I love that. Let's talk about the space, because I love that. I think there's so much power in a pause, in taking a moment, in taking quiet time, whether you call it executive time, meditation, walking in nature. But let's talk about that space, right? What is that? How does someone get to that space? And what is that space?
So as a coach, I do a lot of listening, and my target market is leaders of businesses, organizations, big and small. I work with publicly traded companies. I work with small businesses, mom and pop shops. It all depends on the growth that individuals want for themselves. And what everybody has in common is they need space for personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? They need time to think about what they want, to be strategic. And as a coach, I can provide that, whether it's online or in person. And John, as a coach yourself, you have great, thoughtful questions that you can ask your clients based on their needs, because everyone is different. It's a real organic approach based on the industry they're in, or the people that they are, or the issues they have. And you just ask away, and then they have the opportunity to really dive deep and think about what they want for themselves, for their businesses. And there's a lot of discovery.
Yeah. It's I love what you're talking about, because you're giving someone the space to raise their awareness, to raise their consciousness. And I find, I also find as a coach that that's where it all begins, right? So if you can't get to the place of awareness, if you can't get to a place where you want a higher level of consciousness, then it's hard to change your current pattern of what you're doing. You've got to be able to hear and see things differently, and need somebody to kind of guide you on that path. And so talk a little bit more about that, right? And so the importance of having somebody guide you, right? To me, it's a very, very important element, because I'm a big reader, a big Audible, a big podcaster, but I'm a business coach that also has a business coach. I'm a business coach that has tons of mentors to get me on that path. And so talk a little bit more about just the importance of having somebody to do that with, the power of mentorship, the power of coaching, really.
Right. Having someone hold you accountable is powerful.
Yeah.
Whether it is a coach, a friend, a colleague, that will allow you to grow.
Yeah.
So when you have a coach like you or me, you're holding somebody accountable to their plans.
Yeah.
And that's basically all I do is I provide the space and then I hold my clients accountable to their goals.
Yeah.
And when you work with a coach, you're 80% more likely to hit your goals. When you write down your goals, you're 40% more likely to hit your goals. Isn't that amazing?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you share your goals with a colleague or a friend, you're even more likely to accomplish them because your goals are out in the universe. I don't know the exact percentage, but you're sharing them. So you obviously want to get there some way. And then there's tools we use to help you get there, action steps.
Yeah.
And they need to be SMART goals.
Yeah.
So that's
I love what you're talking about, Renee, because you're talking about putting it out to the universe and making things tangible, right? You're actually getting it out of your head. And I love stats because I think specifically for coaches or mentors, stats are really important because it grounds the thoughts that we're sharing. But we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, many of which are negative. Many of them repeat themselves. And so we need someone to get us out of our head, right? That's a lot about what you're talking about too. It's like getting out of your head and into your heart and into your being. To me, that's where the sacred space is, right? Mm-hmm. That you're talking about. And I think everybody has more potential when they can get into that space. And so talk a little bit about why people resist it and why they shouldn't.
So I work with people who want it.
Yeah.
Right. And what usually happens is I work with people who are almost at the edge where they need it and they want it. And then they're desperate. Like, I need coaching.
Yeah.
When can I get in? And that's almost a shame. Because if you had people had the foresight, it would be a much easier, less stressful process. This September is my 10-year anniversary as an executive and leadership coach. It's amazing. It's been 10 years. Yeah. Thank you. And coaching has come a long way since then.
Yeah.
So people are much more excited about it. It's more accepting. They feel great about having a coach. I was walking down the street yesterday, walking my dog, and I saw one of my clients, and it was, they're like, oh, I'll see you at 1:00. It used to be something that maybe they were embarrassed of, that they have a coach. And now it's like, they feel great about having a coach. So it has definitely evolved. So I have seen that where more people are reaching out sooner than later.
Yeah.
So, but I think that maybe they resist because they feel bad about themselves. Why do I need help? This is ridiculous. You'd think I'd be able to accomplish this goal on my own.
Right.
But I think, life is not a straight line.
No.
Things change. And just recently, I used to say I was only an executive and leadership coach for years. 9 years, I said that.
Yeah.
And recently, I added the word life because I am certified as an executive, leadership, and life coach. But I always left the word life off because I always felt like maybe business people wouldn't take me as serious if the word life was on my business card.
Yeah.
But what I've really realized over the last 9 years is that everything is about life.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw it on there.
I love it. I love it. Good. It sounds, like an evolution of alignment. I think it sounds great. And I know you said you were certified, but I also just want to kind of highlight, prior to this 10-year great career that you have with Prosperi, you founded Girlfriend Consulting, a company committed to helping organizations understand, build, and strengthen their corporate culture. You built Star Treks, an event entertainment company, Pulse 220, a corporate event, Cranes 40 Under 40. I mean, you are so accomplished in the day-to-day of real life, right? Of knowing and being in the trenches of what business is all about. And so where do you think as companies move into and executives and from a leadership standpoint and life standpoint, how do they need to kind of unlock their creative mindset moving into this next decade? Or even starters just this next year, 2022?
It's a good question. Unlock their creative mindset?
Yeah. Because I think as pre-COVID studies show that by the year 2030, 85% of jobs that exist don't exist today. That this is going to be a decade of adaptability. This is going to be a decade of extreme growth. And so we can't look at things the same way. So to just kind of piggyback off of awareness and to piggyback off of, becoming more conscious, people need to, I think also, I see this as a coach, look at things more creatively because they're going to have to pivot and adapt in ways they didn't even know. Right. So I find that, the technology that's built in 2025, 26 is going to catapult certain things that we can't even maybe comprehend as we sit here today. So from a creative standpoint, how do people need to start kind of maybe rewiring the way that they think?
Yeah. I think collaborating is key to that, bringing more people into the conversation, not having wasteful conversations, but thoughtful conversations, getting right to the heart of the matter, and making sure that each conversation has a purpose. If there's an issue or an opportunity, let's dive deep and figure it out so it's beneficial to the company and to the people that it serves. And often we try to fix things by ourselves and don't bring in the people who are actually doing the daily work and ask them, or bring in people from the younger generation and the older generations together for a meeting of the minds. Yeah,
I love that. Something that you've talked about a couple of times, people think they can fix themselves. Why when somebody asks for help? I find many times people are, afraid to ask for help, whether it's in life or in business. And sometimes they don't even know how to ask for help or what to ask for help for because they don't understand, what nuance they need help in. So as a coach, how would you suggest someone who's afraid to ask for help?
Well, first I'd ask, what are you afraid of? And then I would say, what's the worst case scenario? Are you going to get fired? What's going to happen here? And dive deeper into the real issue. What's the fear? And then look at the opportunity by asking the right questions. And so as a coach, I always ask questions. I never give the answers. I never pretend to know my client's industry. I have the best time learning about their industries. It's one of the things that keeps me going, and reason I love coaching. But by asking the right questions and digging deep, my clients can formulate the right questions so they can thoughtfully ask for what they need. And then we often role play. Until they have the confidence.
I love role playing. It's so important. All right. I love it. All right, Renee, you ready for a quick speed round?
I don't know.
What's your favorite book and why?
That's a good question. When I was younger, in my 20s, my business partner at Star Trek and I read the E-Myth.
Yeah, so good.
The E-Myth Academy.
Yeah.
And it's really one of my favorite books only because, and for any young entrepreneurs out there, the E-Myth Academy, it's like there's a new book out by Michael Gerber. And I liked it because it was simple and it helped me create systems in my business. And it was really a little bug for me as an entrepreneur. I loved reading it. It was about a woman, an entrepreneur who baked a great cake and she had a seizure. She wanted to build a business, but she couldn't build a business. She didn't know anything about it. She just built a great cake.
Yeah.
So it's always in my heart. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's a great book. I think it should be mandatory reading in every business school in the country. So I love it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
If you don't ASK, you don't GET.
I love it.
By my beloved mother-in-law. May she rest in peace.
That's beautiful. Finish this sentence. One thing every entrepreneur needs to do today that they may be not doing is...
taking the time to respond and not react.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things. I talk a lot about that too. You know, one of the things I always say is adults respond and children react. And sometimes it does. It takes, if you just go back to the space that you're talking about, I love it. I love it. Define yourself in one word.
Happy.
All right, good. Good. Renee, tell everybody who your ideal clients are and how they can connect with you.
I work with leaders of businesses and organizations, and they can connect with me at prosperigroup.com.
I love it. Well, I enjoyed this talk. I always enjoy, talking to you, connecting with you. It's always fun for me to have other coaches on this show to talk to you and just give more wisdom to anybody who ultimately listens to this at any time. And I just want to kind of highlight the importance of everything you said was important, but the importance of each person figuring out their own cadence and their own space and what that space looks like, because in that space is unlimited potential. And what I find is there's more courage in that space than I think people think. And I think it's great. And I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your style and the importance of coaching. Any closing thoughts for you, Renee?
I just want to thank you. This has been great. And your show is awesome. And
thank you.
I appreciate you, John. Thank you.
Thanks. Think community, if Renee can help you, please reach out to her. Appreciate you listening. If anybody would benefit from this, forward it to anybody who could. Renee, appreciate you. And thanks, everybody. Have a good day.